Today, we're going to reveal the secret to my superpowers. Yes, that's right. Well, I'm going to tell you a funny story. Several years ago on Father's Day, the kids got me a hat like this, said "Number One Dad." Next year they got me one that said "The World's Greatest Dad." And I said, "Well, what are they going to do next? You know, how can you outdo the world's greatest dad?" And so on Father's Day, they got me these pair of Superman underwear. And so it's kind of been a little ongoing joke in our family. Hey, Dad, are you wearing your Superman underwear today? So it's kind of funny. And today in the Proverbs, as we are on day 23 of our 31-day challenge to read through the Proverbs, we see three things. We see a lot of talk about drugs, a talk about sex, a talk about money. Super important topic, sex, drugs, and money, right? Is the Bible relevant for today? Yes, absolutely yes. But the fourth thing that it talks about, which is what I want to talk about today, is parenting. Parenting. Before I jump into that, I want to jump off for a second into an analogy. Today is the 23rd of January, and 90 days ago today, our president declared a state of emergency in the United States that we are having an opioid crisis, that there are more people addicted to prescription drugs. We are losing more lives to prescription drugs and to drug overdoses than ever before. And people are saying, it doesn't matter what political problems we solve. Unless we solve this problem, we're kind of imploding from the inside out, is kind of the way they understood that and are explaining that. And I want to say that's kind of what's happening in our world today. We have all these problems in the world, but our families are imploding from the inside out because we're unable to really raise healthy, normal, well-adjusted kids that aren't kind of getting blown out of the water by the many things that are coming against our culture. And so it's an inside track. It's an inside deal. And as we look at the Proverbs speak so much to this whole area of parenting. And just for kicks, I took the ages of my kids and I added them all up. And I have been a parent for 306 years. That's right, I'm a Jedi Master. You didn't see my ears come up, did you? But that's the reality of it. You think, hey, you raise these kids and they get up and they go off. But, that doesn't end our parenting responsibilities. My kids call me all the time, hey, Dad, what do you think about this? Hey, let me bounce something off you. I had a 2-hour conversation yesterday with one of my daughters coming back from a young marrieds retreat. And we talked about marriage and family and children and the things that are happening in the world today and in her life. And it's been exciting. It's been interesting to see our kids grow up. You probably have kids. If you don't, maybe one day you will. And this is a hugely important area. And there's so much we could say in here. And I hope you're mining some of this richness from the Proverbs yourself. But I want to look at a couple verses, and it says in Proverbs 23:19, it says, "Listen, my son, and be wise, and direct your heart in the way of understanding." And one of the things that we see as Solomon is teaching his son, and God as a father is teaching his people. We are his children, and so he's reaching out to us. And so the thing that we see repeated so often here also in verse 15, or 13, it says, "Do not hold back discipline from a child. Although you beat him with a rod, he will not die. You shall beat him with the rod and deliver his soul from hell, from Sheol. My son, if your heart is wise, my own heart also will be glad, and my innermost being will rejoice." That key word is the heart. How do we get the hearts of our kids so that they're wanting to do what's right? When a child is little, in verse 13, it says, "Though you beat him with a rod, he will not die." Don't hold back discipline from a child. When children are little, they need discipline. But at some point, right, it needs to come in here. They need to get it for themselves. And as Solomon is writing this, he's not writing to little kids. He's writing to young married sons. Hey, he's counseling them in their marriage. And so, the job, number one, is the job of parenting is never done. We go from being that parent that's, there giving that instruction to that parent that's then giving counsel and guidance. And our kids need us in all areas of their lives, and it's great to be able to be there for them. And verse 22 says, "Listen to your father who begot you, and do not despise your mother when she is old." He's talking about the ongoing relationship between parents and their children. to have that relationship of counsel and of respect. And now we're kind of two peers walking down that road of learning to fear the Lord together as individuals. And verse 24 says this, the father of the righteous will greatly rejoice, and he who begets a wise son will be glad in him. And that's the joy and the fruit of seeing our kids walking in truth. Of course, we're familiar with that verse that John says, I have no greater joy than this, and to see my children walking in truth. To see them that they get it in their heart. It says in verse 26, give me your heart, my son, and let your eyes delight in my ways. And then he goes on to talk about the harlot and other things in this passage, drinking and all these other things. Hey, don't delight in those things, but delight in my ways. Delight in the things that I delight in. Let's fear the Lord together, and let's walk down this path of wisdom together as co-heirs of this grace of life, so to speak. So there you have it, some very simple things about parenting. There's many things that are pulling our kids' attention away. And just as our country is imploding by so many things, it's imploding on the inside. And what happens in your home and what happens in my home and that relationship that we build. And I guess I really haven't pounded that, but really what this is really all about is a relationship. That we need to have a heart-to-heart relationship with our kids, that they're trusting us, we're trusting them. There's that foundation of love there, that we care about them, that we're there for them, and that we have their heart. When kids are little, we want them to just obey because I said so, right? But as they get older, we want them to get it in the heart. And that's what the Proverbs does. It gets to the heart of the issue. And so today is day 23, and just as our president's 90-day commission has ended, our 31-day commission will end in 7 days. It's been a great journey. I've learned a ton. I've been enjoying digging into the Word and trying to synthesize something in here that hopefully will be useful and beneficial to you. Try to make a teachable moment, maybe with an object lesson, my little Superman underwear here. So thanks for taking some time to be with me. Hope you're digging into the Word, reading it for yourself. A proverb a day, one according to the date of the month. And if you're just jumping in here, go back and start right now today on this date. Today's the 24th, 23rd. Read the Proverbs 23 and just continue for that 31 days, and your life will be greatly changed. Habits are formed by doing something repeatedly over and over again, and having that quiet time, taking that time to be with the Lord, taking the time to look up and say, okay, God, I'm here in the morning. I want to get a word from you and encouragement so that we can then go out and encourage others. That's what it's all about. So I want to close with a really cool illustration. I'm going to put a link to it below. 30 years ago, a mother wrote a song, and she recorded it on a little cassette tape. And when I went down in the kitchen this morning, my son Jesse was watching that, and I looked over his shoulder and watched it, and I was just about in tears because this son had grown up. 30 years ago, she wrote this song. And the son had grown up, and he had become a musician, and he professionally recorded the song, and he played it for his mom. And I'm going to put the link in down below, but I want you to just catch her emotion as she sees her dreams and her hopes being fulfilled, as this little dream she had 30 years ago for this song then became a reality. It is so cool. The emotion, she is utterly speechless in tears as she's overcome by emotion. She's visibly shaking and sobbing uncontrollably. And think of the joy that we have in our kids when they get it. And here's the son now. He got it. He caught her vision for that song. And he made it into something so much better than she could. And when our kids catch that vision that we have for them to live for the Lord, to be righteous, upstanding, good, godly, productive citizens that do something awesome with their lives, and they take what we give them and they take it to the next level, man, what's better than that? So enjoy this little video. I'll post a clip down below. There's a Facebook link or something. I got to find it. But anyways, God bless you. Thanks for joining me. 7 more days of our adventure. Hope you're having a great day. God bless you.
Lord, won't you lead us? Prepare our hearts. We are your hands.